only a model. Shh.
We're nice to the rhomboid table, not round or square or triangle. We come to hang and chat like a gang on Fridays as we're able. We play well here in Camelot, we are chums and fun, but Camelot. We're nice to the rhomboid table, our host is formidable. He runs his trains, lots insane, but sure he's quite unstable. He's army mad in Camelot, but seems never to have done a lot. Quite incomprehensible, too wrenching, and we have no plan but to sit and hear Dodge babble. It's a lazy time in Camelot.
I have to shake my bum a lot.
This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout, do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation.
And see it, you'll love it, and it's all done in the best possible way.
Hey everybody! Happy Friday to all the fellow knights of the rhomboid table. Hope you're all good on that side of the monitor. It's been a busier week than normal. Got a few things done, which I will share and talk to you about. I've posted quite a few things, and I've got more to come. And so, well, let's just get at say hello to all who are here. First of all, came in, said he would be missing most, if not all, the stream today, Sir Colin White, because he got called into work. But Colin, you're one of the old guard, one of the originals, so just want to make sure you know that you are missed here, your presence. And again, to all the people who watch later, thank you for tuning into something that you didn't have to tune into. And to all of you who tuned in live when there are so many other better things you could be doing. But anyhow, we have Sir Andy 81E is here. Sir James of Dundas Junction is here. Sir Andy the hot dog pilot is here. Sir Jean-Ricard of Abeltoft, Denmark is here. Sir Ken Amos is here. Welcome in from the BNO 51. Sir Leslie of Gilpin is here with another fabulous video today, although my comment was kept short because I did not have a lot of time for YouTube and I was watching all the videos and then going back going, nice, 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 nice. So my comments were not necessarily as verbose as normal. Hey, Sir Clive from Newland Railway is here. Had another nice delivery that he shared with us. Sir Tim of Dowd, the CEO of the Knights of the Rhomboid Table. Thank you for being here, sir. And Sir Timber Surf is here. Sir Tom Couples, another one of the original Knights of that original smaller rhomboid table. Thank you, Sir Tom, for always being there and all your great comments after each live stream and video. Sir Chris Froud from the Valleys, thank you for joining us. And all our friends, all three of them at Von Don Eisenbahn, thank you for joining. And who else do we have? Bodenbanig and so, von und mit Carsten. Well, welcome, willkommen Carsten, grüß dich. Or maybe you're not Bavarian, and therefore I should just say, guten Abend, or moin. Let's get united. So, welcome into Bodenbaning und so. Carsten, you can now post a link to your channel so all the other knights here of the Rhomboid Table can go check your channel out and see if they want to join in. And then who's this? RJX. And I see Märklin Steve joined in. Hello, Märklin Steve. RJX, hi there. Let's knight you. We've got two new ones here. And I declare you a Knight of the Rhomboid Table. Now, if you guys don't know what a Knight of the Rhomboid Table is, it is an old joke that goes back very early in this live stream when I started over 4 years ago. We have long past 4 years of broadcasting every Friday for 4 years, 2 months, whatever it's been. And from the very beginning, I made everybody a moderator so you could advertise your channel. Because back at that time, everybody was like, don't you advertise your channel on my live stream, blah, blah. And I was like, advertise, here, go for it. Post links to other people's channels, whatever you want to do. And I don't even remember who it is, but I made somebody a blue wrench and they jokingly said, I have, by the power of Grayskull, making that reference to the old He-Man show. And somebody else said Excalibur, and I said, well, that's somebody's copyright, so to speak. And I said, so we're the Knights of we can't be the Round Table. And Knights of the Square Table had been done. I even remember the UK comedy series Young Ones did Knights of the Square Table. I was like, we're not square, and I'm not cool enough to be at the Round Table, so I came up with the Rhomboid Table, and the name is stuck, and so everybody gets their little wrench. And Sir Ifo is here. He was here earlier, but hadn't typed in a bit. Welcome in. And I forget the two names. One is David. Is the other James? At Two Rail Fans. I blew the names. I apologize. And Sir Dwight of Curly has popped in. Welcome in, Sir Dwight. It's great to have you all here. But hey, I'm going to go back to the chat here and I can keep up with that. But yes, you can advertise your channel here. The only thing we ask you not to do, you can link other channels. Keep it hobby or comedy related. It can be any hobby. Like if you've got a cool knitting channel that you want to share, pop it on. You got a cool remote control RC car, boat, ship channel. There's a cool video about somebody flying planes. Go ahead and pop it in. We just, no politics, no religion. Although I will discuss economics, which some people occasionally confuse with politics, but they are separate. John and David, got it. John and David. I said David and James. So anyhow, named after Sophie Ellis Bextor's chin. There you go. Any time indication for new things to arrive by post? No. And did I see Sir Dave of Kiwi is here? Welcome in. So anyhow, what all has been going on? First of all, let me start with the somewhat, I don't want it to be seen as self-promotional, but there's no way around it. It's kind of self-promotional. Dino, Sir Dino from the Model Railway Shed is here. We can't really get started without you, my good friend. I hope you and the family are well. So let me just start with this because you guys asked, okay? You guys asked. Edward from Happy Valley had asked. Other people had asked. I don't ask anybody to buy anything. I actually have a Teespring store so I can design t-shirts that I can then buy. Okay? So everything I put on there is because I wanted one. But I've had some people say that they would like Knights of the Rhomboid Table. Now, people say they want it, but then will they get it? I will be bringing, hopefully, because I've got to order in at Sticker Mule, I'll be bringing some Knights of the Rhomboid Table stickers with me to Gets. But we now have a Knights of the Rhomboid t-shirt. My daughter took my design and she said, you know, that she would do whatever I wanted. And I said, just keep the basic design. I liked it. Keep it simple. And so she did this, and I've put it on some t-shirts at Teesprings. And in every one of my videos, there's a link to the Teespring. So there's also coffee mugs with the Knights of the Rhomboid Table. So this is the remastered version. This is my daughter's more professional take on it. She is a graphic designer, but again, she did this for Dad. She was following what I wanted. You know, I didn't say, hey, just design something. I said, I like this design. Can you just make it cleaner than mine? So what she did, if you didn't see the image on my post, you have to enlarge the gauntlets, or go look at the image on the post where you enlarge the gauntlets. I can actually do that here, but there's t-shirts and there's a coffee mug if you want to celebrate your membership as a Knight of the Rhomboid Table. All right, so let me just get rid of that now. Well, I'll leave it there for now. But here is the new logo. So if you look closely at it, now if you're looking on a phone, you can't see, but it was funny. Steve 87PSAP said, but no ICE 3s anywhere in there? Oh no, they're there. I didn't see them originally either. My daughter had to point it out to me. But there are ICE 3s and some tracks in the logo. You know, this really isn't in the way, but it kind of is. Hi there. So this is our new Knights of the Rhomboid Table logo, the official version. I want to thank everybody who commented, and you know, they were telling me nice job. No, the credit goes to my amazingly creative daughter. All three of my kids are amazingly creative. But there's that. Updates on the rain situation in Germany and Austria. No, I haven't been paying attention to that. I haven't been paying attention to German weather lately. All I know is Toledo has been officially declared in the highest level of drought. In my lifetime, we have never been at this level of drought before, but Toledo is in a very ugly drought. We've had some rain, but we are way, way, way below. So I'm very proud and thankful to my daughter because she's brilliant. But that's the Knights of the Rhomboid Table. So I call everybody who comes in, because you get your blue spanner. And so you are a Knight of the Rhomboid Table. So anyhow, what's the other big news? Well, maybe you saw the video that came out about an hour or so before the live stream hit. Big change, big change. The 00 layout is gone. But not forgotten. It just moved. And it has been moved to a new place. And you guys will have to let me know. I'm actually... Oh, by the way, one thing I wanted to ask, going back to this t-shirt. Do you guys prefer like the large sort of logo on a shirt? Or do you prefer the little crest like over the, you know, over the right breast logo? Let me know in the comments or in the chat here which one you prefer. Do you prefer the bigger logo, or do you tend to wear t-shirts that have the small logo? Because I have both versions available if you wanted a Knights of the Rhomboid Table t-shirt. Okay, most of you are saying large. Oh, Tim, I would love some of your rain. And I'm not usually one in for rain, but we need it. Things are looking pretty bad. Sir Christopher! Nice to have you here. So anyhow, let me go to the new camera, or not new camera, new location. And, where is it? Floor layout, floor cam. Okay, so the new layout is, if you're looking at this camera up here, which is in your upper right-hand corner, the new layout is to my bottom right-hand side. On screen, it would be to your left. So, anyhow, I moved it down here. Now, if you're looking at this and you haven't seen the video and you're going, yeah, but it's kind of dark and it's hard to see. Au contraire, mes amis. For there shall be light. Now, the one drawback is I have not found a great place to put this camera to really let you see the trains in action, where I had enough distance on the floor where during the live stream I could stick it out on the floor and you could see the whole track, but as it is here. But it does work. Hello, hi. Greetings to the Netherlands. So anyhow, in honor of its new location, I will start with these guys. Or at least I thought I would. Uh-oh, somebody sounds derailed. It figures. Everything was smooth until you go live, right? Find out why this guy is off a bit. Yeah. See, the funny thing is, it's supposed to be smoother because the track is all tacked down. But anyhow, hey, Chesty Trains, how are you? And where are you? Are you home in Canada? Or are you off traveling somewhere? I saw you posted a couple of shorts, but I haven't gotten to them yet. So that is the new home for the 00 layout. It's, again, if you're looking in your upper right-hand corner, right there, where I'm waving now into that camera, it's right down here on my right-hand side. But on you, it would look like I'm pointing left. But there it is. All right, so let's look at what else I'm running today. The other big news, of course, was that Märklin earlier yesterday announced its fall lineup, released its fall new releases, stuff that they had not put in their summer or their main year release. And I have a reaction video coming out late tonight, early tomorrow. I really wanted that to go out this morning, but there are all kinds of hassles trying to put that video together. And so unfortunately, it got delayed. So the video that went out today should have gone out, well, should have gone out today. The one going out tomorrow should have gone out yesterday. Anyhow, I've stopped paying attention to the chat. So anyhow, let's get these guys in motion. I've got an Austrian EC pulled by a Taurus, yes, in the Austrian Motor Club livery. And then I've got a long freight train, the container freight, being pulled by this Blue Tiger. Looking very eager to run here. Oh, let's get that out of the way. Why that's there, I don't know. And then I've got an ICE2 that hasn't run in a few weeks, so we're going to let the ICE2 get going here. We'll get Alex going here. And then the guy I have to watch, the Flixtrain. I thought I sorted out his uncoupling problems with the one car, thought I fixed it. It ran in well yesterday and earlier today, and then just before I went live and did one more test run, he uncoupled. So I got to keep an eye on this guy because that one car just keeps uncoupling. And that's a Vectron pulling that. And then way in the back, we got a Class 650 DMU. And to start things off, I'll go to the multi-view and then I'll catch back up with chat. So just to start, I'll put the multi-view on so you can see everybody in action and I can keep an eye on everything. Actually, I get to see more of the floor trains now than when they were behind me. I couldn't see them behind me, but now I can look down here and go, okay, you're doing good. You're doing good. But the nice thing is, because of putting it under this table, it was about 6.5 foot there. It was about 78, 79 inches long over here. It's now 85 inches. I was able to add about 5 to 6 inches of running space on it under this table. And it's not done. And thanks to a suggestion from Jean Ricard, I'm going to maybe put some back scenery around it. I will eventually put some static grass on it. Watch the video and I'll explain more about it. Hello, Anthony Borden. How are you? Yes, I did, Anthony Borden. I thought about Magna Rail, and the Magna Rail would have been easy to put in, especially the way my system's set up. Magna Rail is a great system because you can run any car with Magna Rail, and you don't need specialty motors in that other than just your pivoting sections. But you can't do the bus stop. Everything on my Fowler car system was predicated on doing the bus stop, having the buses pull in to the bus stop, stopping, and then pulling back out on their own. Because to be honest, as much as I talk about it, I could just turn my Fowler cars on and just have them run in circles like my trains do. But since that's all my trains do, I wanted my buses to do something a little more automated and different with the traffic flow. Yeah, I really tried to go with a colorful mix of trains today. So a little bit of everything except blue. The Blue Tiger Locomotive. Hello, DJ Scania Rig Rider. How are you? Greg, how are you? Oh, Greg, you emailed me and I have not emailed you back. I'm very sorry. Thank you for that email. The last 3 days, I have been scatterbrained and forgetting the people I need to talk to because I've been doing other less important things, unfortunately. And CMD is here. So, yeah, I'm happy overall. I think camera-wise, obviously I can shrink these pictures down a bit, but you see the trains. It's just, there's just that little corner where you don't get to see the train, and they're just running in circles, obviously. But I run these UK trains because I love certain UK trains, and then it's also a little bit to sound sort of hoity-toity. It's my salute to all my UK friends, all the people that have supported my channel from the UK. I have more subscribers from the UK than anywhere else, which I'm an American who runs German trains, and my largest fan base is from the UK. Although maybe the UK's been passed. I've gained a lot of Americans. At one time, Germans were my largest subscribers. Germany and the Netherlands, Denmark, but that region was my biggest subscribers, obviously. And of course, originally, family was my biggest subscribing group. Yeah, I saw your short. I even commented on the 6707. Well, if you want nude women, that's a different story. I don't know if we can take up a collection plate for some of the ladies of the model train hobby, but that's such a sexist and horrible attitude. Well, hello, Todd Armstrong. Welcome in, Sir Todd. Yes, I love the looks of the Flixtrain. I don't like the company. I don't like the company and their business attitude, but I do like their locos and their livery. I just don't like their business model. They're very... Well, let's just say DB could stand for something other than Deutsche Bahn, if you know where I'm going with that. Well, Jesse in Oklahoma, you were knighted before, because you've been here before, and yet now you're not knighted. Well, let's fix that. I now declare you a knight of the rhomboid table. But, yeah, a few people have asked me if I had any Knights of the Rhomboid table, because that is you guys, okay? We're all Knights of the Rhomboid table. It's not my channel. Okay, it started on my channel. It's related to my channel. But, you know, it's not about me. It's not my channel logo and everything else. It's you guys are Knights of the Rhomboid table. I'm a Knight of the Rhomboid table. And several people have asked if I had any logo-based merch. So my daughter made that great design, and I put it on a t-shirt and a coffee mug. So if anybody wants it, there's a link in my description of every live stream video that takes you to the Teespring store, and you can buy it. I'm not asking you to buy it. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not asking you to support my channel. I can support myself. But if you want to have that, since many of you asked for it, it's there. You had a problem when you were train spotting. Yeah, and Bodenbahning, I have to, I actually am going to be riding a Flixbus from Denmark to Rostock, Germany. Of course, most of that trip, the bus will be on a ferry, but I will be riding the bus from Copenhagen down to the ferry, and then from the ferry across to Rostock, and then to the main train station. Yeah, I don't know why they would be asking where you live. But my stream, I just run my trades in a circle. There's nothing special about my layout in terms of, you know, I don't even have, I've got a lot of buildings, but I don't have any real scenery in. It's special to me, and I'm very proud of my scratch-built Delmenhorst. There's an actual city in Germany called Delmenhorst, and the station in that video. Well, let's just take you around. All right, we're going to follow this ICE2 around. So it's coming up the camera we call up the ramp, because that's a ramp it's coming up. And then here it comes into Delmenhorst Station, and that's a real station in Germany. And then now you can see the whole table. I always like this camera because it's a 4K cam. The bridge view, the workstation cam, the 11-lane cam, the Joyce cam, because this is the camera we put Joyce on, the Bremen corner cam, and then the Bahnhof cam. And then the long view, because this is the one camera that gives you the most of the table. It gives you as much of the table as you can. It forms a giant U or a giant C, whatever you want to call it. I have 6 lanes running. There's no automation. There's no trains can stop here and start. I just have 6 full loops, 3 that go over around the entire layout, and then 3 that just circle inside here, including the little mini shunting. I shouldn't say shunting. Little super short Regio 3rd lane loop in there, and that's it. Do you have to scream when you meet me? God, I hope not. Did I see the new Fowler Castle? Yes. Will I get it? No. Oh, by the way, Sir Lee is here. Hello, Sir Lee of Liverpool. Welcome in. Lady Jackie in the background if she's there. But yeah, teenage thugs giving you grief for rail fanning. That's pathetic. The problem is those thugs would, unless you were being thugs like them, they would give you grief no matter what you were doing. I got the IC4 in the Klimatschutz. Unfortunately, my IC3 has blown its motor. I got to send it out to get repaired. I have taken it apart, tried to fix what I can fix. And rather than me trying to replace the motor myself, which most people would say is not a hard job to do, I'd rather send it to a pro so I can yell at somebody if it goes wrong. And Sir Ian of King Fox Junction is here. Wonderful to see you, Ian. Saw you in your, dare I say, Liverpool jersey, sporting the right one, the LFC. I've got last year's home kit jersey. Well, I'm sorry about that, EFO, but thank you for popping in. Take care. Bodenbahnen, genau. Ich habe ein Schüleraustauschprogramm mit Delmenhorst gemacht. Mit dem Max-Planck-Gymnasium in Delmenhorst. Von 2003 bis 2016. Und dann ist alles zu Ende gekommen. And that was your great nephew with your mom. Okay. Yeah, in der Nähe von Bremen, ja. Neun Kilometer westlich, meine ich. 10 kilometers westlich. Sorry, guys, I went German for a bit. Now that I'm not teaching anymore, I'm scared to death my German, if I don't use it, is going to just disappear. I spent years speaking German every day. Now, I speak German just for the hell of it a couple of times a week. I still listen to a lot of German videos, but I'm not surrounded by it. I didn't say 5,000, but there. So let's see, 3 hours south of Delmenhorst. Well, Osnabrück is about an hour and a half south. Munster is about 2 hours south. So you got to be south of Detmold. My German better be good, or a lot of people, including family members, would be pissed at me. 3 of my grandparents were born in Germany. So I grew up around German, learned some German as a kid, and then studied in school, got a degree. Then the last half of my 36 years as a teacher, really the last 20 years as a teacher, I taught German. Okay, so Oberhausen, so yeah, you're in the Ruhrgebiet. But Karsten, I need to speak my German. I need to speak more German. And yes, I know the vast majority of my audience is English speaking, but hey, I don't mind throwing it out there. I've got people from all over the world here, which blows my mind. That's, Jesse, that's how I am about any foreign language. I love listening to any language. I don't care what language. I love listening to. I've always loved languages. That's why when I started college, one of my degrees was linguistics, where, you know, the study of where languages come from and how they evolve. Canadian Australian is impeccable. I don't know. Australia's got so many accents, and it was very interesting trying to figure out the difference between true local Sydney Australian and then Wollongong and that area. Of course, Artie's got his Australian accent, which is basically a Wollongong accent. And then down to Melbourne. Oh, I should go with you. Listen to Rammstein if you like German. I listen to a lot of Rammstein. Weil, denn du bist, was du isst, und ihr wisst, was es ist. Es ist mein Teil. Just don't ask you to speak Welsh. Oh, that was one of the great things we had when we were in Wales, was the difference between Northern Welsh and Southern Welsh and the attitude. And I forget which one it was, but like somebody said, the Southern Welsh people will suddenly start speaking Welsh just to annoy you, and the Northern Welsh people will speak English to you to be friendly. Or maybe I got that reversed. Maybe it was the Northern Welsh will speak Welsh just to shut you out. Well, hi, Mark Dunnicle Dad. I'd be glad you don't know. But yeah, so it's just as the years of retirement quickly will go by, and I'm not using German daily, I fear it will become rustic. I love going to Germany and never having to speak English except to explain things to Joyce. And Joyce now understands German fairly decently. She still doesn't speak it well. She's got her conversational German's down. Like, she knows how to get her way around a store, a restaurant, with the police, you know, the important stuff. But she understands it unless we get really deep dialect. Like when we went into the Tyrol and got into the Tyrolean Alps there, and a lot of the people, the Bavarian Germans and the Tyrolean Austrians, with that very thick regional. Dankeschön, Dankeschön. Mir gebt es gut, Geister. What? And gay Netherlander, yep. No habla inglese. I know how to get into trouble in French. I'm not good in Spanish, but I can do basics in Spanish. You know, I can work my way around a store and, you know, just, and a restaurant. You know, the most important place is when you're not going there to work in business or to spend a long time. French, I can get in trouble with because I know how to cuss people out in French. And Sir Andy Dobson is here. And I am so totally impressed by that. And when I was younger, I really wanted to expand into Dutch, and now with Jean Ricard, I really need to expand into Danish, and I still haven't. I promised Jean a year and a half ago I would start learning Danish, and I never started. I have broken that promise. I feel like a jerk for breaking that promise. I still have a few months to try, but I just haven't been able to just sit down and wrap my mind and grab it. And people say, oh, do Duolingo, or oh, do this, or oh, do that. And I learn languages the old-fashioned way. But see, I'm not just about different languages. I love the accents. I love the different regional dialects of German. I can understand Plattdeutsch decently. I don't speak it well, but I understand it, mostly. And the funny thing is, and Plattdeutsch and Dutch are very similar to each other. So I can read Dutch, usually, because I can usually guess what German word it's related to. Oh, that silly car derailed again. Stop. Whoops, wrong one. Dang it. Huh, I wonder what's going on with that car that it keeps derailing. Okay, it's gonna get worse here. Alright, guys, what's the matter here? Oh. Somebody's still off. There you are. Somebody's still off. He's still off. That's one thing. I mean, I don't usually have that problem with my German stuff, but isn't it weird that something will go 20 minutes and not derail, and then all of a sudden it just derails, and then I'll go another 40 minutes, no problem, and all of a sudden derail? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Chesty, there are so many dialects. Rhenish, Frankisch, Sächsisch, Plattdeutsch, Bayerisch, Bayerisch, Württembergisch, and so on and so on and so on. But every language has that dialect. Even if you come to America, there are hundreds and hundreds of regional dialects in the United States. We still understand each other. Our dialects aren't that off. We can usually understand each other. You know, the one that gets me is London alone. The UK has dozens and hundreds. There are more accents in the UK, defined, definitive accents in England. English language dialects in England. I'm not even talking Scotland or even Wales. But just in England, there's more English dialects in England than there are in the United States. The United States, 3,000 miles wide, whatever, and as big as we are, compact England, and yet there's actually more dialects of English in England than there are in the United States. And then you add in the various regional dialects of English in Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland and so forth. It's amazing. London, I've told this story before, so I apologize, but some people maybe not heard it. Years ago, when I was a much younger lad, in the 70s and 80s, there was a guy who would come on American radio. He was a British gentleman who had moved to New York City, and he was a philologist and a linguist. And he would have people call into a show from London, and he would give them a series of sentences, and he could tell them what neighborhood they were from, and in some cases, he could get it down to within 3 or 4 streets. Like, this dialect, the way you're pronouncing these letters together, only these 3 or 4 streets of this part of London say it that way. And that was one of the things that put into my brain the idea that was cool. Of course, I never took it that far to study. Yeah, there are definitely those people where they speak some of the old, what's the German dialect? Romansch, which is technically considered not German. It's spoken in Switzerland, but it's just so broken away from German. And been mixed much more heavily with Latin and some other languages. But Romansch, and the number of people who speak Romansch is dwindling daily. It's kind of a lost language in the heart of Switzerland, and many people consider it the original language of Switzerland. But if it's not German, it's been so heavily influenced by the surrounding German areas. But Romansch. Andy, no, Joyce and I don't have time. We are flying in, we're arriving Friday morning and leaving Monday morning, and we're at the train show, all but when the train show's closed. The only chance we might have is Saturday when we arrive. I really should have booked an extra night at the hotel just so we could immediately go in and check in 3 hours early. But the only time we're going to have is the Friday afternoon before the train show. And that doesn't give us a lot of time because Milton Keynes, well, you're an hour and a half from London. But to be honest, no offense to any of my Londoners, Joyce and I have been to London and we don't feel the need to have to go to London again. More likely to want to maybe spend part of a day in Oxbridge, or Cambridge. Oxford. I said Oxbridge. I combined the two. Oxford and Cambridge. I plead the excuse that one road over from my house is Oxbridge. There's a road called Oxbridge. But Chesty, that's true. There are parts of Berlin where if you speak German, it's over. Any big international city is going to have its large expatriate community. I'll use the term expatriate. It's not so judgmental. There's a huge Dutch community in Berlin. There's a huge Russian community in Berlin. There's a huge Polish mafia in Berlin. And who came in? Oh, Sir David of Woodall. Thank you for coming in. Well, Andy, it's just, we're going to be jet lagged coming in, and we're there for the weekend, and as soon as the party's over, we go to bed Sunday. We got to get up super early in the morning, Monday morning, to catch a train down to London, to catch the tube to Heathrow Airport. So we're gonna have to rest when we can. We are excited about this. The number of people we're hoping to meet at Getz, but also we're not just going to Getz. We're going to the Warley show Saturday morning. So we're arriving at Milton Keynes. We should be in Milton Keynes sometime between noon and 1 if everything works right. We will be at Milton Keynes sometime around then. And then we're probably going to just rest for a couple of hours. And then we're probably just going to walk around and see the sights in the Milton Keynes area. But it also depends on which of our friends decide they can come in Friday and hang out with us. Well, hello, Sir Tom Houston. Welcome in, Sir Thomas. All right, well, thank you for stopping in and hanging out with us for a bit, Jesse. We appreciate it. Notice I used the royal we, but I speak for all the Knights of the Rhomboid table. All right, let's go to some of the single cams and watch for a bit. But yeah, so, and then I assume, you know, because I don't know who's coming in when. I know some people have said, I know some YouTubers we want to meet are staying at the hotel, and I think some of them said they're coming in Friday. So we might bump into those people. But of course, I'm going to try to do my live stream, which will be 8 p.m. UK time. Obviously, I won't be running trains, but I'll do it more as a wacky weekend show. But I won't do the wacky weekend show that weekend. I'll just combine it into my live stream. And we'll see if we get any special guests to show up. Hopefully the internet's good enough. But we are, Joyce and I are so excited to go. We're nervous. We are a tad nervous because there's so many people. And we're scared we're going to ignore somebody we shouldn't have ignored, or that we will spend more time with one person more than another, and we want to make sure we are egalitarian. And that's just getting there. The nerves of getting there, because we were so pumped up last year, and then bam. And last year we had my son's wedding the week before. A week and a half before, well, no, exactly a week before Getz, we had my son's wedding. And so that was a focus of attention, and we didn't really start thinking of the Getz trip until my son's wedding. And then within a day, I was sick, and then Joyce got sick the night before we were supposed to leave. And everybody else was sick because somebody brought a spreader. So we were just very, very... Well, that's all of the United Kingdom and Ireland. Well, no. Mark Donegal Dad was in the background at one time. Does Ireland drive on the same side of the road as the UK, or do they drive? Does proper Ireland? Oh, that'll cause a problem saying that. Ireland, independent Ireland, as opposed to Northern Ireland. Do they drive on the same side of the road as the UK, or do they drive like America, Canada? Yes. You drive on the same sides of the road as the UK. Okay, that would make sense. Because what is it? Singapore and Hong Kong drive on the right side of the road like the UK does, but mainland China drives on the left side. No, let's do that. Well, you drive on both sides of the road. But you know what I mean? They drive reverse, so they have to design the highways, these really funky highways they designed to cross the traffic over coming in and out to get people on the correct lanes when they're driving into, these really elaborate bridges that cross over each other to get the traffic on the correct side coming in and out of these countries. Japan drives, I believe, on the same side of the street as the UK. They drive the same directions. Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Australia, and then the various countries of the United Kingdom. Oh, Japan. Well, Japan has the steering wheel, can have the steering wheel on either side. You can get Japanese cars with steering wheel on either side. But I thought Japan, at least at one time, drove... I'm not talking where the steering wheel is, because I've been in Germany and seen or I've been in the UK and seen a Dodge with the steering wheel on the wrong side. Well, I say you drive to the right because oncoming traffic is to the left. In America, as you're driving down the road, the oncoming traffic, the traffic coming towards you, is on the left, so you're on the right side. In the UK, you're driving on the left lane because oncoming traffic is on the right. So the UK drives on the left side, the United States and most of the world drives on the right. Hey, speaking of Graham, how are you? And we've still got to set up our phone call and start talking more so we can just get to know each other before we all of a sudden force you to drive us somewhere. When I was in the UK the first time, I was scared to death to even think of renting a car. And then we went to Australia, and that scared me even more because Australia drives on the left side of the road. And but you're constantly weaving in and out, going up and down the hills because it's mountains and then it's coastline. Beautiful, but I won't want to drive it. But I was watching Rick and Pauline from Well Chuffed Railway. They've done a couple of videos where they're on the road and they just show their car driving on their way to a show or a shop they're going to visit. And they did one where it was an extended trip. I think the video was 40, 50 minutes and 20 of it was just them driving. And they were doing it at regular speed at several cases. They didn't speed it up, 5 times, 10 times. And I started going, normally I would feel awkward. But having driven with Artie for 3 weeks in Australia, it didn't feel weird to be watching the video from that side of the road. Before that, before I went to Australia, even with the trip to the UK, and even in Australia, it felt weird being on that side. But all of a sudden, watching Rick and Pauline's video, it felt normal. to the point where I was like, I wonder if our next trip to the UK, could I rent a car and try to drive? And I don't mean our short trip to Getz. I'm talking 2026 when we're going back to the UK for 4 weeks. Which might be Joyce's retirement trip. Because Joyce was going to keep working until 2027, and now she's talking herself into, she was going to try to do 3 more years, and now she's saying, you know what, 2 more years. This year and next year, and then she's out. That one will kill me. Left is right. Indeed. Yes, in the UK, the left is right. And so, but the thing that most people around the world aren't used to is like in Germany, as far as I know, and we've got some Germans here, maybe they could correct me. I know in the Czech Republic, they do not have right turns on red. America has right turns on red, that even though there's traffic, if there's nobody there, you are allowed to turn right even though it's a red light. In Germany, I've never seen a right turn allowed on red. You have to wait till the light's green to go. And I've never driven in Germany, but I've been in cars with friends in Germany many times. So I could be wrong, but I think Germany also is no turning on red. And the UK does not have left turns on red either. Well, yeah, right turn on red would be like us left turning. Bad. But many towns in Toledo, including my own city of Toledo, are going nuts for roundabouts. We're adding circles and roundabouts everywhere, trying to get rid of the lights because it's statistically proven that there's less traffic jams and there's better traffic, and it's actually better for fuel efficiency to not have stoplights everywhere, but they have traffic circles. Well, that's interesting, Christopher. Or Chris, I mean. Yeah, only if there's a green arrow, but not just a plain red light. In the United States, unless the sign says no turn on red, you can turn on red. You can turn right on red. Anywhere. You don't need an arrow. There will be a sign that says no right turn on red or no turn on red, but it'll be in front of the right lane. But that's the only time. All right, we've been on this one for a while, so that's another good camera to really... Bridge view is always a nice view. Oh, I was just on bridge view, duh. Workstation. Man, that's a lot of track when you think about it. Ugh. This camera drives me crazy. Actually, it's not the camera, it's the stand. Earthquake! Earthquake! Because that's something I have seen in America, I haven't seen in Europe, and I'm sure it exists in Europe and the rest of the world, is the 90-degree crossings of trains. You know, it's not like there's a stoplight there where this train has to stop, but it's a 90-degree cross. Well, I don't know about that, Hot Dog Pilot Andy. When Joyce and I were in the UK, I think anybody jaywalking would have been killed. The pedestrian crosswalks in England were very interesting for Joyce and me. Very interesting. Some in a cool way, some in a negative way. Von Don Eisenbahn, yeah, down here in Toledo, most Americans aren't used to, and their way of dealing with circles is to drive straight through them anyhow. We have had several accidents in Toledo, both multi-car and single-car accidents, because the idiots just try to drive straight through. I'm not going around, I'm going straight through, damn it! Oh, wow, that's pretty wild, Andy 81E. Giving out jaywalking tickets. I've seen that in Germany, where crossing at the wrong time or being where you shouldn't be as a pedestrian would get you a ticket. Riding your bike through a crosswalk where it says walk your bike across. Yep. All right, hi. Well, thank you for coming in. Hi, have a good night. All the best to you and the family, and your new best friend, Ollie. Take care. Yeah, you'll catch air. Yeah, we have the same thing. We have the bumps. They don't care. They got pickup trucks and 4x4s. They think... don't get me started on most Americans with their pickup trucks and 4x4s. Oh my God, they think they can drive through anything. They think it's an ATV. I got 4x4. I can drive over everything. Well, there's that Flixtrain. It is a... I do like the Flixtrain looks. The thing is, I need a couple more cars for it. I need a first-class car. Those are all... Actually, it's the exact same car 4 times. There was a 3-car set that had a first-class car in it, which I ordered, and it never came in. They still got my money. Well, we quibble over how you interpret pedestrian. Pedestrian just means one who goes by foot, and technically when you're riding a bike, you're going by foot. The bigger argument is drive your car on the sidewalk, because the definition of pedestrian is one who is moving by foot. Well, your car wouldn't be moving if your foot weren't hitting the gas pedal. So nowadays, pedestrian is interpreted as non-motorized. On our city statutes, it'll say pedestrian, also non-motorized. Yeah, I don't show this enough. A lot of people like it because you can really see the long trains in the background and the foreground, as well as the short guys. So yeah, I probably should show this one more. I have 16 cameras, but I show the same 3 or 4 all the time until I go to the multicam view, which then half my audience will say, when you've got those 14, 15 cameras up on that one screen, they're so small I can't see them on my phone. And I'm like, then watch it on your computer or watch it on a TV. I see them just fine on my, I forget how big this monitor is. Is it a 28-inch? Yes, Chris, and that is a great attitude. As somebody who rides his bike on the roads, a lot of Americans will roll down their windows and say, get on the sidewalk. And technically, you're supposed to be on the road, not the sidewalk on your bike. Now, little kids, I want them on the sidewalk. I don't want them near the cars. But upon a certain age, then yes, you should be riding on the street, not on the sidewalk. Well, I broadcast in 1080p, and many of my cameras are 4K. This camera, I believe, is a 2K, but I think it's set to 1080p, as opposed to 2160. The DB cam, this one, this is 4K, broadcasting in 4K, but of course you're only going to get it in whatever your TV set to, but it'll still be much clearer than if it were 480 on your small screen or 720. But this is a 4K camera set to. Well, hello, Ricardo Lopez. Welcome in. Okay, is that Colombia's flag or Venezuela? Darn, I can't remember. I used to know all my flags. Now I'm getting old and senile. I now declare you a knight at the rhomboid table. Now we are running. So Ricardo, welcome in. Bienvenidos. And DES Media Productions, welcome in. Thank you for popping in. But anyhow, Ricardo, anybody here is free to pop a link to their channel or a friend's channel, as long as it's train or any fun hobby-related channel, a good comedy channel, just nothing political, nothing religious. To some degree, but when you're using YouTube, actually has expanded the you can live stream on YouTube in 4K if you're set up for it. YouTube will let you go 4K. It's not so much YouTube's limits, it's your own home internet limit. Your uploading speeds, as well as your computer and your that. That's like when before I changed internet, where I was 10 up, and I would have days where I didn't realize it, but somebody messed with the internet signal for our area, and we were only doing 5 up, and I'm set to push 7,500 kbs into my internet to my upload, but I'm only able to do 5,000 kbs. And then that's where the lagging and the circle of death come in, because I'm trying to broadcast it much higher and push it through, and it wasn't even YouTube, it was my internet provider, because they had booped us down and we were suddenly only able to broadcast at 5 or lower instead of 10. I broadcast at I upload roughly, I'm set to upload at 7,500, and of course you work in that business, so you know it varies. You're not constantly going at 7,500, depending on camera and some other things I'm doing. I might be at 7,700, I might be at 6,800. Right now, I am broadcasting on this screen at 7,200 kbps, and it's pretty much stable. So now it just went down to 7,150. Now it just jumped up to 7,400. And then down to 69. So you see what I'm saying? It's boom, 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 boom. You're never consistently throwing it out there. And the thing is, as more trains go into the picture and the camera tries to grab all that information, that's more information it's sending. So when one train's going through, it's down to 6,900. 5 trains going through, it's up to 7,500. Yeah, I understand that part. Because, 60 frames per second. 720 at 60 frames per second will look much better than, say, 720 at 30 frames per second. But 720 at 60, that would be a tough call, Graham, as I think about it. 720 at 60 FPS versus 1080 at 30. Which one actually looks like a better picture? I still think the 1080 would look a little crisper even at 30 FPS versus 720 at 60. But for me, I tend to broadcast at 30 FPS. I am set to broadcast. Actually, I'm set at 40 just to give some wiggle room. Because even though you're 30, again, things are but I know a couple of channels that have broadcast, not uploaded, but have broadcast live streams at 4K. But it's a lot of, you got to have the right computer, and I probably have the right computer, and you got to have the right internet. Oh, yeah, Leamington, I'm with you. Absolutely. I don't even have a camera that can record or broadcast at 120. I think everybody would be amazed by that. But yeah, 120 would be better. I'm trying to think where it tops off. I've only once seen something. No, I'm trying to think. Was there 240 FPS? Anyhow, Sir Randall, hello, if I didn't say hello to you earlier. And Sir Raymond Legs, welcome in. I'm sorry I didn't say hello to you. Adult videos took forever to load up back in the dial-up days. So did non-adult videos, okay? But, you just woke up. So, and that's the difference, your tech world versus mine, is I think 60's great. But I can tell you the difference between trying to upload a video I'm putting out later. No, the video I put out today was 4K. It was 4K at 30 frames per second. Because I didn't realize my new phone was recording at, so part of it was 60 frames per second and part of it was 30 frames per second. Because my one video camera does 60 and my phone was set at 30 instead of 60. I don't know why my phone was set at 30. It should have been at 60. But maybe it was the first time I used that phone and noticed that the settings were off. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Graham, you're absolutely spot on there. You would be able to pause it and read the fine print on the bottom of each coach or wagon. At 120, I think you would start to get that clarity. Otherwise, you'd have to go up to 160, 180, or 240. But yeah, there comes a point. Yeah, the clarity, to be honest, in the actual movement, yes, it would be clear, but I think to the average eye, you wouldn't notice the difference between 60 and 120. It's in the pause you would notice the difference. I think you'd probably notice it would look, yeah, maybe I'm being too harsh. I think, yeah, the average person might notice the difference, 60 frames per second versus 120. But on something moving fast, our eyes blur, much less the camera frames blurring. But yeah, it's on the pause where the difference would be amazing. All right, you got to get up and work early. All right, well, you take care, Andy81EE. It was great to have you here. Thank you for popping in. And again, if anybody else has come in that I haven't said hi to, my apologies if I've missed you. If you're in the background watching, as I know a lot of you do. A few marks I know. Greg, although Greg did come in to say hi at the beginning. You and your wife take care of yourselves there. Oh, we got the Batman tilt again. I think that made it worse. What in the heck, dude? That's a little better. Boy, I tell you what, that Mahano Blue Tiger is a smooth, strong runner. And that reminds me, can I do this? I want to do this. Where are you? Come around, come around, come around, come around. Come around. I hope we can do this. Do I want to put it on the front or at the tail end? Let's put it on the tail end. A little bit further, a little bit further. Okay, here comes my two high speeds rolling through, so I got to do this after they go through. Come on, IC2, IC2, and now you guys can't see what I'm doing here. All right. Step 1 of 4 done. And step 2 of 4 done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me for just a second. You're going to get an upside down video until I can rotate it. I just have to rotate this image. But why is it not letting me do that? It should let me rotate it. There we go. Thank you. Okay, there.
There we go.
All right, it has been months and months since I've done this. But happily, I can finally do it again. Now there is a 3-second delay between the video and what you see. Actually, I'm going to run him very slow. So now you'll get a character eye view of the layout that has nothing on it. Okay, sorry about the echo. I forgot to turn the mic off. It should be fixed now. We should be good now. Sorry about that. I forgot I reloaded it, and so the mic was active. Yep. Yeah, I apologize. I forgot to turn the mic off on the GoPro. I'm sorry about that. I forgot. Which pine trees did I nail? There shouldn't be any pine trees for him. I'm going to slow him down some more. Yeah, Chris, that's what I always called it. I called it the passenger view. What I really want to do is get a PNG file and put a frame in here that looks like a train window. Guys, I have not been able to get my GoPro to work with OBS for months and months, and I finally got it sorted last weekend after my live stream. I was so thrilled. Larch. The larch. The larch. The larch. And now, the larch. Yeah, see, the GoPro, if I put it up where it's too wide to go through as a, it would bump into other trains passing by, and it would bump. And if I did it standing, where I would try to do a cab view, it hits the canopies. It's the canopies over the, because again, it's too wide, so it catches the canopies. This is the only way I can run the GoPro. I really wish I could have gotten the Cube with Wi-Fi. But the cool is this is so far at the end of the train that when it goes around the right curves, you'll actually see the front of the train. So about this area, as it comes around these buildings, you'll actually see the front of the train. Or you'll have an ICE in the way. There you go. Now you can see that. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, the Polaroid Cube 2 Act had Wi-Fi on it. I've got a Cube 2. I've got the Cube 2, which it's too... I have a Cube 2, but it's not the one with the Wi-Fi. And if you want the one with the Wi-Fi, you're going to pay $300. In other words, the same price to get a GoPro. I keep hoping that GoPro would learn to shrink their camera down a bit so that you could get it to this size and still do Wi-Fi. If Polaroid could do Wi-Fi with a camera this size, which would fit on the front of my train, and I could do a carriage view. So in case you haven't noticed it, the GoPro cam view is now in the middle upper right. So how many cameras do I actually have working on here now? The 9 big ones, and then 11, 12, 13, 14. Do I have 15 cameras going now on this one page? All right, Ken, take care. So, you know, imagine having a layout that is completely finished. Cab views are gorgeous. I'm not saying it's better than a cab view, but you see a lot of cab views. The passenger view, I do love to do it. I've been disappointed. I have not been able to get this sorted out ever since I went to, and there'll be a blank space here. It takes 3 seconds for the signal to load up again. But to me, it's home, because this is how I experience trains, is sitting by a window and looking out and watching things go by. Other trains, trees. Bad model buildings, you know, empty streets. But you know, it's isn't there one called Walnut? I don't know. Is there? I would love, you know, the thing is, There are small cameras out there you can do this with. There are pen cameras, but they cost a fortune. They cost more than a locomotive. And so what am I going to do? If I have $300-400 that I can drop, do I want to buy a new locomotive or do I want to buy a camera? And some of you are going to go, if I got $300 to drop, I'm going to buy 5 locomotives at the boot sale or at, you know, and I get that as well. So this is, you know, it's been a long time and I wish I just had, but again, maybe this will motivate me to start getting more done on the layout again, is so that when I show the Polaroid cube, everybody will be like, oh, awesome, you know. Yeah, the thing is, I've got to have wireless Wi-Fi. It's got to be a wireless cam. The GoPro is wireless, and there are some security cameras, but you have to download their apps and then try to get their app to work with OBS. So now I haven't used my Polaroid cube, and this is the cube that does full high def. It's 1080p. The original Polaroid cube was 720. This one can do 720 or 1080. And then the other one was 720 or 1080, but had Wi-Fi. And you had the Polaroid app, and if you had the app, you could live stream with it. ESP32 cam. See, people are going to start naming these. And then I usually go to Amazon. Because, yeah, the ESP2 mini cams, they're really cheap, they're really small, but are they Wi-Fi? Well, it says, well, you can add a Wi-Fi module to it, but does it get too big? Because otherwise, I might invest in those, because those are cheap. Because what do they run? About 20 bucks? 20, 30 bucks for an ESP32? I just thought they had to be wired. I didn't know if they had Wi-Fi in them. Well, I will look into that, Tom Houston, and see how I can make it work. Because even to get my GoPro, I keep hoping OBS will upgrade their system. I keep hoping OBS will upgrade their system. So that you can bring in third-party links. Because to get my GoPro on the camera, the reason there's a 3-second delay on the GoPro, because like it just went past me now, and now it's showing it going past me. But anyhow, I have to use a virtual server. I use a thing called Mona server, which reads the, see, I have the, first of all, I have to have the app on the phone. I have to have the Quick Pro app. So the phone app reads the Wi-Fi signal from the camera, okay? My computer cannot read it. So my phone app can read it. So I can live stream from my phone. I could live stream straight to YouTube with that camera. So like if I run a roller coaster and wanted to live stream, have the roller coaster on my hat, I would just use the app in my phone and it will say go live and then I would click YouTube. So, but to get it on my computer, my phone reads the Wi-Fi network. So I go through Mona server, which takes it, but then OBS can't read Mona server. However, VLC can read Mona server. So I run the Mona server to VLC, and then VLC is read by OBS. And that's why there's a 3-second delay. Train to camera, camera to Mona server to VLC, and VLC to OBS. It's easier to do than it sounds, but it's what I got to do to get the camera in there. Well, thank you for that, Tom. I am going to check into that after my live stream. Well, hello, Monsville. Welcome in, Sir Knight. Glad to have you here. Yeah, and that's true. You need to choose the right model and make sure everything's compatible. But I'll look into it. Again, Tom, did you answer my question? Last I knew, they were running around $20. ESP32s were running around, well, ESP, the little mini cams on, you know, it's the little camera. And I first heard about them on a train channel. It might have even been Heath a year or two ago. And they were running around $20. And you get your little microchip board. And it's got a little micro camera, basically same sort of camera they stick on your computers, your laptops. Uh-oh. Hey, hello, Ian. Streaming says everything's okay, but my YouTube studio says there's an issue. We'll see if it corrects itself. Hello, Ian! See, I'm with Ian and hi. I really need to learn Dutch as well. And Ifo. Ian, Ifo, and hi. That's Dutch I should learn. And then Jean Ricard is Danish, so I should learn Danish because I make everybody have to read or understand me. And did we see it? Oh, okay. Your Drift Stealth 2. Well, that's interesting. See, I'm just not an IT guy. I mean, the last I worked with computers... All right, in 1992, I bought my first home computer for me and the family, just so we could have internet and computer access. My oldest was a year away from school yet. Actually, she started kindergarten but we decided to get a computer. So we got a computer. It was an Acer. I mean, the thing had 375 megabytes hard drive. And that was big. God, it was a Pentium 2. And then by 1995, I had completely rebuilt it myself. And that was the last I did anything that wasn't plug and play on a computer. When it wasn't working and couldn't handle what I was doing anymore, I went and bought a new one that, okay, I need better RAM, better this. And I stopped building them myself. And it was cheaper to build them myself, but at the time, I didn't have time to build them myself. It wasn't what I did for a living. I had my job. I often had second jobs. I was raising kids, and I was coaching. I did not have free time. And to sit around on a weekend and rebuild a computer, to go out and buy all the things. And there were times there in those years where I really, even those, it was just easier to stick it on the Best Buy credit card, pay it off over a few months, and go from there. Oh, that sounds cool, Bodenbanning. That sounds very cool. You want? Oh, well, that's the difference in generations of us, Chris. 40 megabyte for 400 quid. Yeah. Now let's go back to this one. People like this one. But there you can see that camera going around. Now the thing is, these 1998, oh crap. I don't know if that was a UK thing or what. 400 quid for that. Even back then, I could buy a Western Digital hard drive, you know, well, I think when I went to the 575, I went up from 375 to 575 megabyte hard drive. That was one of the first things I replaced my computer. I think I paid $120 for that hard drive in 1994. I mean, my last couple of years of high school in the early 80s, they just, because we were a private high school, computers were showing up. We had computer lab. We did have some computers in the school. And then 4 years later, when I was a first-time teacher, there might be a couple of computers. The offices started running on computers by the mid-late 80s. But yeah, it was very late in my training to be a teacher, early in my professional career, that you started seeing computers in the classroom, and even then it was like the Apple IIe's, and I don't even remember when those came out. I just remember the kids playing Oregon Trail. You know, and that was with the old 5 1/4 inch floppy disk. They said you would never fill it. Isn't that hysterical? Yeah, my first laptop was a 12-inch 12-inch screen. That was also an Acer. Because at the time, Acer was good, and then Acer became garbage. And now Acer is kind of back. At least they didn't go out of business, but they're back. They might be under new ownership in that. Yeah, Dino, my actual first computer, my parents bought me a Commodore VIC-20, which really wasn't a computer. And then I got the Commodore 64. And then I got a ColecoVision in television And that probably had more computing power than the stupid Commodore 64. But you know, they technically were computers, and I was doing Cobalt on them, but it was so, I don't even consider those computers anymore. The real home computers. Now, my cousin Mike in the 70s got the Tandy TRS-80. And I would play chess against it, and my cousin Mike was a state chess champion, and I was pretty good at chess, and I beat the computer at chess, which I thought at the time was pretty impressive, but now when you think of the computing power of those first chess programs, big deal. But hey, I was 13 years old, and I beat a computer at chess. I was feeling pretty good about myself. Hey, Brian Rockwell fan. Brian, how have you been? Michael, Tommy, Michael, who in here goes by the name Tommy, watch my video tomorrow and your question will be answered. Brian, yes. I've had a few Friday the 13th in my life that actually seem to be bad luck, including one really bad. Even my live stream got off to a bad start with a new train derailing. Well, not a new train, but a train derailing. So is all my standard usual followers, you guys are okay with this view of the floor layout? I mean, again, this layout is in honor of all my UK friends. I don't have a lot of 00 trains, but and I didn't even tell you guys about the Mallard. My cat, I had the Mallard out to run with Cayenne on Tuesday, or no, not Tuesday. It was Sunday. And the cat knocked the Mallard over, and then I put the Mallard on to run it, and the one side, the framing's all bent. I've tried to straighten it up, and it sometimes runs, and then the framing bends again. The Mallard might be DOA. Well, that's great. I'm honored. I run this stream, and I can think of a million things that I would rather, that would be better, you know. But then again, no, because I'm here doing this, which means I love doing it. But for me, it's not Friday evening. For the continental people, the UK and continental people, it's Friday evening. Movies, dates, and pub runs and everything else, and yet people... Speaking of pub runs, our bartender's not here. Somebody's going to have to take over. We're going to have to start having backups in case the royal bartenders don't make it. Oh, Monsville, I want to get rid of these cats, but I'm also a very gentle soul, and the only option that I could live with to a degree is that we drive them out to the country and set them loose. You know, drive 100 miles west of us and set them loose in the field. They lived 2 of their first 3 years feral. They should be able to remember what feral life is, because they certainly haven't acted like house cats since we got them. But my family, Joyce would go along with it. Joyce would be fine with it. Joyce would rather that we could give them away to a home, and we are trying, or give them away to a shelter, but the shelters won't take them. And so the only other option is putting them down. And no vet will put them down unless they have a chronic, fatal health condition. I could take them to the animal shelter and drop them off, but I have to pay. Now, will it be worth it? at this point, yeah. And I'm not a fan of cats. Now, we had a cat that I loved. We had for 20 years because she had a personality to her. And she was part of the family. But we got the cat for one of my kids. It was the family cat, but it was to help our child get over the fact that all three of her best friends had moved away within 2 months of each other. And she was feeling very alone and very lonely. 3, 2, 1, bingo. And the cat lived with us, I said 20 years. She died at the age of 20. We had her for 18 years. She was 2 years old when we got her. But we went a year without pets, and then Joyce just decided she was missing having a pet around. And she wanted a cat, but she wanted to get 2 cats so that when we go on weekend trips or go off to Europe and my daughter's at work, the cats aren't home alone. Buy a turntable and a roundhouse. Unfortunately, that is not in the plans. It's just not anything. It doesn't fit what I'm doing. Someday, if I ever get a chance to expand into this room behind me, maybe when the camera comes over here, as it's coming out of the... There we go. But there's a room back there that was my old hobby room that now my daughter uses as a sewing room, and if she ever decides to move out, then I will set up a big train depot area there, and then maybe I throw in a roundhouse with a turntable. Well, that's very nice of them. So, yeah, the funny thing is I've had this GoPro for 2 years. This is a GoPro 9, which I bought when they released them and put them on sale. So they were like $350. I got it for $189. But I have not been able to get it to work on this computer for, God, I want to say 9 months. 8 months, 9 months since I've been able to get it to work with the computer. I don't know why I couldn't get it to work with the computer, because it always did, but whether it was an upgrade in VLC that was causing problems, or I just could never get it to work. I couldn't get the app to read the phone, or get Mona Server to read the app, or VLC to read Mona. Just, there were so many problems, and I gave up trying for a while. And then with the new internet, I had to reset everything, and by resetting everything, bam, it works. Cats are killers in the wild. They never truly domesticated. Do I own any model train kits? No. I have one snap together train kit, but that's for a diorama I'm building. So no, I don't do model train kits. When I buy something, I don't want to have to build it. Would I? Brian, it is quite... Well, this ceiling I couldn't. There's too many doorways. There's too many doors we'd have to have access to. So... I have seen, like, somebody do an O gauge, and they run it in their bedroom around the walls. But they have like 10-foot ceilings, so they have 2 feet of space above their door, and so they can do it. Not in here. I've got doors that go straight, where the door trim goes right up to the ceiling. Michael, I have not seen the Frosty the Snowman train. So at the risk of sounding like a total jerk, for those who like Frosty the Snowman, then it would probably be cool for them. Me, nah. Even with Kyan, I would not get him a Frosty the Snowman train. Kyan's already got an ICE2 and a Class 245 train set. Okay, they're battery operated, but still, we went straight to the classics. Now at home, he's got Tommy, because I would never, never, ever disparage Tommy. First of all, if I did, the UK might declare war on me. I would never disparage Thomas the Tank Engine. Secondly, because they had Ringo Starr as the original narrator in the show, I could never hate on it. Would I ever own Thomas the Tank Engine trains myself? No, because I didn't grow up in a culture where it was such a part of it. Okay, so the camera just died. Kyan is my grandson. Khian. Kyan is my grandson. So I got the Bremen View, or the Bremen View, the GoPro camera its battery just died. So I have to bring this guy and go ahead and take it off. But at least I got it working again. Once I charge it up, I can do it again. So there he goes. And that's I probably should turn the front screen off. That might keep the battery's life. See, that shows it's still working, but my phone just said the battery is dead and it can no longer send the Wi-Fi. But that was great. It was great to have the cab or the passenger view for a while. Very cool. Very happy about that. So there, something good luck on Friday the 13th. What are you beeping at me for? That was worrisome. I said, finally, something good happened on Friday the 13th, and my GoPro beeped at me. Beep, 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 beep. All right, Michael, we'll take care. We'll see you next Friday. I didn't know Mattel was making... Hey, Canadian LL is here. Locomotive Logistics, welcome in. Oh, absolutely, Mons. The phones today have more computing power than and more capabilities than the computers they used to send the first men to the moon. Those people had to do it all by hand. That's how brilliant they were. All right, auf Wiedersehen, Bodenbannig. Bis später. No worries, no worries. My show is pretty much the same show. If you miss a show, you didn't miss a show. The best thing about this show is the people who come and hang out and chat with each other. Let's see how they're doing down below. So if you're just coming in and you haven't seen my video earlier, the 00 gauge, which used to be over there on the floor, under that white table. Oh, that silly thing derailed. See, I said something good going, and then... Well, when it comes around again, I will re-rail it. Or did you re-rail yourself? It sounded like you re-railed yourself. You were definitely... Huh. That was weird. I swear I heard it sounded like it derailed. But vielen Dank beim Besuch. That was awesome. I had 3 new people come in today. Hopefully they'll stay with it. How do you get a guest appearance on the show? Unfortunately, it's a little bit of work to bring up guest people on here because StreamYard, you know, people always talk about StreamYard versus OBS, and you really should never compare the two because they're designed to do different things. StreamYard is like Zoom on steroids. OBS is like a television studio in miniature. They have 2 totally different aims. Now, you can do some cool things with StreamYard, and you are now able to bring StreamYard or OBS into StreamYard through the virtual camera bit. But my thing is, to be honest, when I'm doing this, the one time I did this live stream was, or the 2 times I did this live stream with StreamYard because my OBS was acting up, and I went with StreamYard and had people come up and chat away. I found I was talking to the person on camera with me and ignoring the chat room and ignoring my trains. Well, hello, Scott's Rails. Brilliant, brilliant images from your trip out to Western Canada, the Canadian Rockies. The trains were cool, but just a beautiful scenery. Very, very reminiscent. Joyce and I want to get out to the Canadian Rockies someday. We want to take that one deluxe Canadian passenger train, you know, the multi-day trip. I forget what it's called. Crap, what is that? The really nice Canadian Express train. It leaves like from Toronto and goes all the way to the West Coast. But Joyce and I want to take that and go out to the Canadian Rockies. Is it the Mountaineer, the Rocky Mountaineer? Okay, that's not the name I seem to remember, but maybe there's another one too. The Canadian, that's it. It's called the Canadian. Oh, what's the name of that Canadian train? The Canadian. Yeah, it's the Canadian is the one I'm thinking of. Oh, shit. Yeah, no, this one goes cross country. Like 4 days. 3 days? Something like that. But you basically can rent an apartment in it. Sort of like the Caledonian Sleeper in the UK. Because Joyce and I are doing that. When we go to the UK in 2026, we're arriving in London, and then we're going straight to the Caledonian Sleeper and going up to Inverness, Scotland. But, you know, seeing the Canadian Rockies, it really is the same as looking at the Alps. It's just, if you had taken that picture and said you were somewhere in Switzerland, I would have to look close to go, no, that doesn't quite look like Switzerland. But, yeah, just beautiful pictures. But yeah, there's my brain fart moment for the days. Trees and mountains. And the thing is, I'm a city person. I do not have the desire to live out in the middle of nowhere, although Joyce thinks I would be happy living out in the middle of nowhere because I tend to be a bit of a recluse. I don't tend to go out and socialize in public, but I do. And I like having stores and shops very handy nearby me. And in winter, and I love snow in the winter, but I don't want to live somewhere where I have to have a snow plow to get my groceries. But to visit, absolutely. I have been in the Alps many times, and it's beautiful, but I would like to live in the town with the Alps out my window. Innsbruck would be a cool city to live in, except it's really expensive. I mean, actually, it's not expensive compared to Switzerland, but it's expensive to live in Innsbruck. And I couldn't move because all my children are here in the United States. I would never move out of the country unless there was a way I could take my kids and my grandson with me. Like, we all move. Because there are places in Germany, Joyce and I have said, we could live here. Joyce loved the city of Kempten. She really loved the city of Kempten, and she loves the city of Pirna, which is outside of Dresden. She loves the city of Pirna. She also loves the city of Cardiff in the UK. Well, hello, Sir Andrew of March West Junction. Yeah, Rocky Mountain High. And the thing is, I've been to the Rocky Mountains. I haven't been to the Canadian Rockies, but I've been to the Rockies in Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Arizona, I think New Mexico as well. I've pretty much seen each part of the American, the eastern and most of the western side of the Rockies. Definitely pretty much all the eastern slopes, and in many places the western slopes. I've seen the Rockies from both sides, except I haven't seen the Canadian Rockies at all. Now see, it's making that sound again. I should put the mic here. See? You know, Canadians and Americans might see a difference in nationalities, but mountain ranges don't. You know, for example, the German Alps are the shortest part of the Alps, but it's still the Alps. And when you stand on the Zugspitze, the tallest mountain in Germany, which I've done 3-4 times, when you stand on top of the Zugspitze, and trust me, I have a horrific fear of heights, I get woozy just thinking about being on top of that mountain. But the view makes the anxiety worth it, because it's a view. But when you're standing on the Zugspitze, you can see 5 countries: Germany, Austria, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, and Italy. All the mountains. And there are mountains that when you're standing looking south, you look to the southwest, and it's actually 300 miles or 300 kilometers away. 300 miles, 300 kilometers. And it's actually 4 mountains that are 2,000 to 4,000 feet taller than the Zugspitze. But because of the curvature of the Earth, flat earthers step aside, because of the curvature of the Earth, when you're standing on the Zugspitze, those mountains look shorter than you. And when I'd take my students up to the top of the Zugspitze, we called it the God view, because when you're standing on top of it, you're on top of the world. You are looking down on everything. So I can't imagine what it would be like and I've been on Pikes Peak, at the top of Pikes Peak as a kid, which is probably where my fear of heights comes from. Yeah, it's, my daughter's been to Zermatt and been on the Matterhorn. But she did that when she was in college, traveling with a musical group she was part of from her college. Yes, America and Canada have been at war. In the War of 1812, the United States invaded Canada and got our asses kicked. But then Canada invaded us and got their asses kicked. And then we've had some little border feuds at times over the years. All right, I am definitely hearing you scrape. You're messing with me, damn it. I get down there and the sound disappears. The Azuma is possessed, my friends. The Azuma is possessed. But I love Canada and I love Canadians, but I like Americans too. Well, most Americans. Canada is beautiful. So is the United States. I don't have a, quote, favorite country. Yes, I probably do have an affinity to Germany. But I don't live in Germany. I'm not trying to earn a living in Germany. Germany is always a vacation. So I'm only experiencing Germany on a high. You know, I'm not living day-to-day life dealing with politics. But I have never had a bad time in Canada. I've got a lot of friends from Canada, a lot of great YouTubers from Canada. If anything, it's usually done in love. I've met some people that take Canada as, usually it's an outsider. Like, I remember the famous singer from the 80s, Boy George, Culture Club Boy George. He just felt the need to stick like, oh, like Canada is America, but with a soul. I was like, you know, we're different countries. We speak the same language, but we're different countries, different systems, everything. And I got to go to the United Kingdom, and the people were beautiful, and the places we saw were beautiful. The people we met were beautiful. I've been all through Germany, and it's been beautiful. I've been in Austria. I've been in Switzerland, and Joyce and I have been lucky to be in these places. And I can count on one hand the number of people in all our trips overseas that have annoyed us. There was a woman in Edinburgh, a waitress, and she didn't even annoy us. We ordered some sandwiches at 12:30. We had to be at the castle at 1:15. And at 1:05, fortunately Edinburgh Castle was only 5 minutes away. At 1:05, we still hadn't gotten our sandwiches. So we had waved at her once, and I think somebody must have called off sick, and she kind of waved at us like, I'll be there later, I'll be there. And so finally it's like, we got to go, and we never got our sandwiches. And we had already paid, because it was one of those pay first. And we got up, and I just waved to her, and I said, I'm sorry, we got to go. And as we were leaving, the manager came up to us and was like, oh, those people. And I'm like, we were polite. We never complained. We just waited. We waved our hand once and didn't get our sandwiches. Another table of 6 people came in, got their food, and left in the time we were sitting there. So that was one person. That was in Edinburgh. We had a grumpy clerk at a store in Germany one year where I asked for a map of the city of Münster, and she thought I said Minster because of my accent. And when I said, no, Münster, she said, well, I can understand your horrible German accent. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm an American, I'm doing my best. And then she looked at me like, you're an American? Oh. She thought I was a German from some other part of Germany. And then we had a bitch at Charles de Gaulle Airport in France, working for Air France. And that's been it. That's literally it. The hundreds of people, thousands of people we've met everywhere Joyce and I have traveled have been beautiful people. The world's filled with beautiful people. Stop watching the news and go meet people. There, that's my lesson for the day. And we just went to Australia in June, and the Aussies were amazing. Now, the thing with the Aussies is you got to listen to them bitch about each other. The Melbourne people ragging on the Sydney people ragging on the Melbourne people, both of them ragging on the Brisbane people. But other than that, beautiful. Aussies greet you like you are the best friend from high school and they haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. It's amazing. G'day, mate. Oh, beautiful day out here, isn't it? Right, you know. And you're just like, oh, sure, there's part of being human and even animals is you'll have the grumpy, miserable, mean-spirited person. They're out there. And a lot of times you don't know what made them mean. Maybe they don't want to be mean. It's just how they are. Something in life steered them that way. But Joyce and I are never the first mean one. We can be rude and mean if need be. Although we've never been that way overseas. Except once, when I cussed out the French bitch from Air France, because she was being ridiculous and I called her a bitch. And I still call her a bitch. Because she was being such a jerk. Oh! Well, look at the cameras over here where I am. It's now under this table where, you know, Joyce sits here and types on this computer. It's down here. So it's right here. So that's the new location. And what's cool is I can suddenly make it nighttime. Nice lights on the Azuma. So I built this little frame. I built this frame, and I've got a video up that explains how I built the... Well, I didn't film building the frame. I can't work on camera like that. It was hard enough. Jean Ricard called me while I was in the middle of building it, and I'm talking to Jean Ricard while I'm trying to build. And I'm not going to tell Jean Ricard, call me back later. I'm going to work on it, but Jean, if I'm not looking at you at the camera, understand, I'm working on this. We can talk, but I'm working on this. And I wasn't worried about what he could see. And he'd be like, Anthony, let me see what you've done there. No, I'm working on it. All right, well, that's cool. I'm waiting to have a wild, loud night with my wife. Wait, no, I didn't say that out loud. Speaking of which, she should be here. Where is she? Although anymore, she's coming down at 5:15 to 5:30 because she has been at work. And speaking of Joyce and work, oh my goodness. Just to make her life harder. Joyce has a new partner in her 4th grade class. She's teaching 4th grade this year, right? Anyhow, the teacher that taught with her last year retired in the same grade level. And so a new teacher came in, except the new teacher has never shown up because the new teacher is in Abu Dhabi with her British husband. Because he's having trouble. He's a British citizen and he worked with the United States government and blah, blah, blah. And he's trying to get into the United States, and the United States won't let him come into the United States because of some paperwork in Korea. So the woman's never shown up. She is on maternity leave until her husband gets his stuff straightened up. There's a question whether she'll actually ever come in and teach. She did have a baby a few months ago, and she's on maternity leave. You could take up to a year off. But she's in Abu Dhabi. So they brought in a long-term substitute until this woman comes in to take over. 2 weeks into the school year, or 3 weeks, that woman quit. She's like, she was going to business school, working on her MBA in the evening, and her classes started, and I guess she decided her class load was just too much work to go with being a teacher in the day, and she wasn't going to be a teacher. She was just teaching to make some money, substitute teaching to make money, which is an attitude I hate. And she was struggling a bit, and Joyce was trying to help her. Then Joyce just got a call Sunday night. Hey, so-and-so quit. You're going to have a new teacher in there on Monday. So this week, Joyce has got this new teacher in. And it's a woman who also is not a trained teacher. She's an accountant who came into teaching after she retired as an accountant to make some money and to help teachers out. And yeah. Well, Moneybrook Junction, welcome in. You've been here before. Why are you not knighted? Well, we'll fix that now. And now declare you a knight of the rhomboid table. I was waiting for a couple of people to show up because they're the ones this was aimed for. So for those of you that are here now that were saying, will there ever be Knights of the Rhomboid Table? Well, yes. Maybe you've seen the new logo, but my daughter's new design is now available on t-shirts if you want a Knights of the Rhomboid Table. Guys, I'm going to tell you this. When you work with Teespring, okay, they set a base price. And then you add whatever money you want to it for your profit. I have marked these $1 above cost because that's the lowest you can mark it. You have to be at least $1 over cost. I mark these as low as I can mark them because it's not about me making money. It is if you, as a Night of the Rhomboid Table, think it would be cool to have a Night of the Rhomboid Table t-shirt, because some of you asked me for it. I designed it once my daughter made this logo so I could have one. That's why I use Teespring. I don't use Teespring to sell my stuff, which is good because I don't have memberships. I don't have any of that stuff because I don't need the money. I'm not asking people for money. I don't do anything that's worth asking money for anyhow. I don't like when people gift me money. You are the gift. You guys being here and chatting with me every Friday, you are the gift. I don't need anything else. But some people have asked, like, would there ever be something Knights of the Rhomboid Table? So if you like it, there it is. Now, going back to that conversation, Chris, as an American, there are a lot of beautiful New Yorkers, but I have met more unlikable people in New York City than anywhere else in the country except Texas. Texas and New York are two of my least favorite places. And I've been in 40-some of the 50 states. Actually, I got to add one. I think I'm up to 47 now. I think it was 46. Joyce and I were in Hawaii for part of a day when our plane to Australia got diverted and had to land in Honolulu. So we spent the next day in Honolulu before our plane left off midnight the next night. So I've been in Hawaii now, so I'm up to 47 states. I haven't been in Washington, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. I've been in every other state. Those are the three that are left to go. I've got to get to Washington, and I got to get up to the northeasternmost states. But Texas and New York were the two American states where I just like, get me out of here. Or New York as a state, New York as a city, Texas as a state. I'm sure I just lost some friends. It doesn't seem to work. Oh my goodness. I've had some troubles with the link too. Let me see if I can find the latest link. All right, I'm going to try this link because I just tested it on myself and it worked. But I'll try it again. See if that link works. There's a lot of good... I've got friends and relatives in Texas, but there's... Well, yes, Texas was part of Mexico. That's why it's always funny when certain comments get made, but we won't get into that now. We did kind of hold a gun to Mexico's head in 1848 and said, give us Mexico or, you know, we'll shoot again. But that's history, not politics. All right, so that link works perfectly. So I will take that link and see why the one on my YouTube channel ain't working. I opened the wrong thing there. Oh, I hate it when you do that, stupid computer. What are you doing? Hello, Derricktiga! Hey, no, just take that out of here. I don't even want to get people started one way or the other on that. Even as a joke. I like to make jokes about a lot of things, and off camera I'll make a million jokes, but that, in America right now, I've got neighbors threatening to kill each other, so it's just... No, it doesn't have to be only trains, and as an American, I'll talk about the royal family and stuff, but try not to keep it political. Well, at least they're not as inbred as the Habsburgs were, you know. But comedy, I think it doesn't have to be train related. It just no politics, no religion. And the worst thing is, there are people. I will say this, and you can take your own guesses. But if you paid attention to Joyce and me, you probably know what side of a world Joyce and I are on. It is amazing. We can come together on a chat and talk about things and laugh and joke. And then if we meet in real life and find out our political persuasions, we'll all of a sudden hate each other. It's like, where have we gone wrong? And I blame certain media, and not even the mainstream media, but the alternative facts media. That their whole goal is just to rile people up to get them to watch. Let me say something outrageous and get everybody to tune into me. And we've got 24 hours of shit to fill, so let's start filling the shit up. So that's not political, that's sociology, and we'll leave it at that. That's the last word on it. Ja, richtiger. But, clickbait has destroyed the online Star Wars. It has destroyed many communities, many hobby communities. I have seen hobby chat rooms. And you gotta understand, I could go back to the 90s when I was a sysop and a channel op in various MIRC chat rooms. And had chat rooms that were going for 2-3 years. And then a little drama unfolds, and bam! The chat room is dead within a month. And you just got like 5 or 6 old timers that are, what happened? Because somebody brings in a little desired attention drama. Like, I'm going to bring in some drama so I get the attention. But anyhow, let's talk about happier things. Comedy, music, beautiful people, travel, trains if you want. Speaking of beautiful people, I'm still waiting for the missus to come down. You bought the Rhomboid t-shirt, you think. Okay, well, thank you. And again, I am not asking people to buy it. Some people said they wanted it, so I produced it. I bought myself a couple of things last night, and that's why I do it. The stuff on my Teespring store is all stuff I either now own, like Cayenne. He's outgrown it now. He needs a new Model Train Outsider t-shirt. And when he was wearing it, he was proud He'd be wearing his Opa's t-shirt. My daughter had one. My son-in-law had one. And we did some stuff from Matt Clark before that. My daughter designed these really cool t-shirts. Like some of you might remember, have to go back a few years to the season 1. Joyce had the t-shirt that said, "It's Lil Damn It," that my daughter designed for her. And we had the Smokey, "It's All a Bunch of Horse Poop" t-shirt, and the Silas Sumbish for Mayor t-shirts. All right, David Woodall, thanks for hanging out with us. But I appreciate that. Anybody willing to spend time listening to me babble and watch my trains just roll in circles? You're either crazy or special. You hear a rasp every so often. No, Derictica, the Teesprings is a free store. You go on and design it. The biggest thing is make sure that whatever design you make is of high enough graphic quality that they can stick it. And then they let you pick up to 15 items that you can sell in your store. So it's no work at all. And then basically they get most of the money. So they'll tell you, like, for example, like the t-shirt I'm selling to me. Now, again, European prices are different. So I apologize. But like the t-shirt I'm selling, it's the one I showed. I believe it's listed at $17.99. Their minimum price on it was like $15.99 or $16.99. I basically added $1 or $2, whatever the minimum you had to add over it, because they won't let you sell it for cost. You have to sell it for a profit. But I was just trying to do it as cheap so anybody who wants it, but it's not for me to make money, because who the hell is going to buy my stuff? Why would anybody buy my channel stuff? All those designs, my daughter is a graphic designer. She's just a brilliant artist in many ways. But so I give her, this is what I want, and then she produces it to the best of her abilities, keeping it within, but this is what I want. You know, she'll sometimes say, "Dad, hey, what if I did this?" I'll be like, no, I really got this in my mind, which probably frustrates her, because she's probably coming up with a better idea than what I have. But it's like, it's my vision. I must fulfill my vision, except you're doing it. Vorsicht bei der Abfahrt. That's how I should end my... Instead of what's become my catchphrase, that should have been my catchphrase. Bahn dann Eisenbahn. Vorsicht bei der Abfahrt. Auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, and happy trains, and Vorsicht bei der Abfahrt. Damn, Joyce is really late today. Chow for now was never here. Okay then. Hey, hello Sir Eric from ANC. How are you? I think anybody who watches anime, Randall, has their favorites and their dislikes. But again, that's true of anything that becomes a passion or a hobby. I'm a Lord of the Rings guy. Anybody who follows me knows I'm a huge Tolkien guy. And I will tout my Tolkien connections and history, and the fact that I even had emails with Christopher Tolkien, Tolkien's son, blah, 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 that I worked for the Tolkien. You know, I'll rattle that all off like I just did. And I will talk to people that have just as high a pedigree as I do in the Tolkien world, or even higher, and we will fight tooth and nail over the movies, because I think the movies visually were stunning, but were a disgrace to the family's work, and the family backs me up on that, because the family hates the movies. There was one grandson of Tolkien who said the movies were okay, and the family chewed him out and took him off the board of directors. But because I really despise the movies. And it's a shame because I waited all my life for a live action movie to be made, and the tech finally made it possible. And again, visually it was stunning, but Peter Jackson didn't get a character right. He didn't get one character right. That's not who that character is in the book. That's not what they do. That's not how they acted. That never happened. That never happened. That never happened. Peter Jackson says, well, there's a lot of stuff that's not talked about in the books, but there's a time period here where it could have happened. You didn't write the books, and this is a problem I have with directors, especially as somebody who's a published author. When a writer writes a book, the director may have the ability to change things around, but they shouldn't have, they don't have the artistic right to do it. Well, yes, I know in the book Boromir's a douchebag, but I want to make him a sympathetic character. No, he's a douchebag in the book for a reason. Yeah. And again, my attitude is it's fine. It's fine if you like the movies. But when I run into people like, I've read Lord of the Rings 20 times and the movies were exactly like the books, I just go, what drugs are you on? But yeah, that's just... But that's me. So people who love Tolkien and love the movies as just another variation, that's fine. But that's one of the things where I'm a rivet counter. A bit of a rivet counter. For example, the animated movie, there are people who love the live action who hated Bakshi's animated movie. They made the dwarf too tall. Yeah, they did, but it's okay. That doesn't bother me as much because they got the character right. You know, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Yeah, I know. They didn't put in Tom Bombadil, but okay. No problem. That's fine, Moneybrook Junction. There's no law that says you have to. And it's okay to not even like Tolkien. When somebody talks to me and knows that I'm a Tolkien writer, that I am a Tolkien scholar, and they say, I found Tolkien boring, I always say, I understand. Tolkien can take a page to describe a blade of grass. And yes, it can be boring. I find the stories riveting. And I have the same attitude like, I don't like J.K. Rowling. I think she's a horrible writer. But her characters were interesting enough that I read all the Harry Potter books after my kids did, just to see where it went and to see how it wound up. And just to... The one thing I always point out is like one of the best scenes J.K. Rowling ever wrote, where I thought she was really very creative and it was well done, was the final confrontation scene between Harry and Voldemort at the end of the last book. And then she let them change that scene in the movies and totally ruined it. It was so beautifully done in the book. It was the first time I was like, oh, she wrote this well and really created this scene well. Brilliant job. But to show that she's a hack and doesn't even know what she's doing, is that would be one scene that any writer would say, yeah, but you can't change this. You've disconnected the two timelines and live with both. I can't do that. I wish I had that ability. But that's my place where I'm a rivet counter. But, you know, that goes back to what prompted that point, was that no matter what hobby you're in, there will always be factions. There will be people who love this part and people who hate that part, you know. Whether it's fishing and arguing over type of fishing or fishing equipment, whether it's model trains and companies and 3-rail versus 2-rail and DC versus, you know, analog versus digital, we always divide ourselves into camps. That's why I call myself the model train outsider. Every time even if I join a camp, I'm still on the fringe of the camp. I agree and disagree. I thought her writing throughout the books was very derivative. Like, basically, she writes 3 chapters and go, basically, she stole all that. And even the writing style from C.S. Lewis. Oh, here she's doing Tolkien. Here she's doing Anne McCaffrey. I never thought she developed her own real writing style. I thought everything she did was very derivative and very... And yeah, as a real life person, she's a very toxic, self-absorbed person. Now, I don't know her personally, so maybe I shouldn't be judging her that hardly, but the people who do know her say that, so, you know. Yep. And in many cases, I thought, for example, I thought the first couple of Potter movies were actually better than the books. Usually, I'm always on the side of the writer. I'm almost always on the side of the writer. But, like, if you really want to see a war start, if you want to see me murdered, bring in the famous graphic novel artist Alan Moore. And I will say I will tell him to his face, V for Vendetta, the movie was better than his graphic novel, with one exception. The way they changed Evie and her acting weakened the movie. But the rest of it I thought was more cohesive, more coherent than his graphic novel. Let the fighting begin. I thought the movie V for Vendetta was better than the graphic novel V for Vendetta. But again, you have to start with Alan Moore's creation. But I thought the movie did a better job of making it cohesive to the average viewer, where it's Alan Moore is a god. Well, he'll tell you that. If nobody else tells you that, Chris, he'll tell you that. I have sat in a comic book con panel where I went to a comic con with my friend Mark, and Alan Moore was giving a speech, and oh my God, the self-absorbed arrogance flowed out of him like the Niagara River going out over the falls. You put a naked woman in a movie, it automatically becomes good. No. I may be a Neanderthal interpreted as male member of Homo sapiens, but even I do have my... Like, here, I'll start another thing. I'm also a bit of a comic book geek, although not anymore, and I tended to be more Marvel than DC. But in DC, I loved Batman, Flash, and Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's my favorite superheroine, or, you know. I have a huge Wonder Woman thing. I think we can all figure out why. And as a teenage boy, the Wonder Woman show with Linda Carter, and I still think Linda Carter is one of the most beautiful women of the last 50 years. But as a teenage boy, I watched that show because it was corset, you know, it was teenage boy hormones, okay? Especially lonely teenage boy hormones. So I watched every episode, and yes, I'm bouncing my head on purpose like this. I watched every episode of Wonder Woman. I go back as an adult to watch it, and her beauty, the skimpy outfits, do not make up for such horrible acting and such horrible plots. I can watch the first few episodes of the first series, and then I'm just like, forget it. The plots are so stupid, the acting is horrible. I just can't. All the Virginia Andrews. You had the first 1200, 2000 AD comics before I went to art college, and my mom threw them out. Oh, let's not talk about what my dad threw away in baseball cards and comic books. Every now and then I would go to my dad as an adult and say, hey, Dad, here's my baseball card or comic book price guide. I had 5 of these cards. You threw them away. Each one was worth $250 now. Yeah, Raymond, you had to be lonely. I think if you're a lonely teenage boy, I think such shows motivate you more. All right, well, thank you for hanging out with us all this time, Chesty Trains. It's always an honor. You put up such great videos, and your trips to different places are always fun to see. Never know what train station you're going to video next, as well as your new model. I did catch you had a new model. Now, at the risk of getting hit upside the head by my missing wife, the thing is, when you have somebody, then that other stuff isn't that important because you've got somebody. Why watch it on TV when the real thing's next to you? You liked Angels Charlie's, aka Charlie's Angels? I know we watched Charlie's Angels, but I was probably doing homework a lot at that time. There were only 2 shows in the late 70s that I stopped what I was doing and watched. Wonder Woman and MASH. I always watched MASH and I watched Wonder Woman. And then on Sunday, because I usually had all my homework done on Sundays, we would watch Lawrence Welk and Hee Haw, because there was one TV and my dad dictated what we watched. But in that regard, you know, I'm lucky. Joyce and I are whatever forces in the universe, you know, strange happenstance, luck of the draw circumstances that arrange for Joyce and me to meet, and we realize we're lucky. We've had friends that never found that right person, or found that right person and lost them. We've been around long enough to see friends that were happily married and then 20 years into the marriage break up. It's, you know, it's tough, but I'm not going to, like with my train, I say, I'm not going to apologize for me being happy. And whether I'm lucky or not, because it took me many years. I always knew I was lucky with Joyce, but a lot of things happened in my life where I was very unlucky. Enough so that at the age of 17, I tried to end my life. And when that attempt failed, I tried to rediscover who I was and what I was. And I just had a very different... Still, I can easily go dark, but yeah, at least now. Because as Joyce will tell you, when somebody's manic depressed, you can have everything in the world going right, but manic depression doesn't see it. Manic depression is going to focus on that thing that makes you sad. Like I did a video about other people and talked about manic depression from my own experience. When you when you go to a comedy, and the thing about manic depressive is they can laugh at all the comedy, and then an hour later, as they're thinking about the movie, there's this one scene that was kind of sad, and they'll extrapolate it and make it, you know, the comedy's forgotten. The sad moment is what you pulled out. You were best man twice. Well, of course, the old joke is, if I'm the best man, why is she marrying him? But Joyce was the only woman I ever met that would bother give me the time of day, which is true. On our first day, I asked her what time it was. She said, it's 11:45. I said, shit, I have to be home by midnight. Wow. Oh, there she is.
New kid starts Monday.
What?
New kid starts Monday.
Yeah, new kid starts Monday. Yeah.
I just had to go over there. So.
It's nice to see you too.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, let me move some things over. Just watch your 1 foot there.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, this is tricky.
Yeah.
This is the first live stream with everything going.
Yeah, it is different.
Yeah, that works.
Off the decay.
Do. And your microphone, my dear.
Thank you, my love.
Yeah, just in time to say goodnight, everyone.
Yeah, just about.
You know what? Von Don Eisenbahn, you know they're here. That's the three different guys.
Yeah.
Willie and Stefan and that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, they left with what should have been my catchphrase all these years. Whenever you get off at, whenever you're at a train, they always say Vorsicht bei dem Abfahrt, you know, watch out for departure.
Yeah.
That should have been my catchphrase. Yeah, every now and then that acts like it's derailed, and then it
Yeah.
comes back around and it's railed again.
Yeah, I was here.
It's derailing, and then, yeah, I keep hearing it. Thank you for, and then I go down there to fix it, and sounds like it's derailed.
Yeah, it really scratches at that area. So anyway, hi everybody. Hi Tom. Hi Monsville. Hi Andy. Hi Eric. Hi Valley. Hi Moneybrook. Hi DES. Hi Raymond. Too weird to be untrue. Dino! Yeah, I am seriously tired.
I can bet. You look
Right?
tired and you're late.
I know. I had so much I had to get done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm on TBS anymore.
I hope not.
I think it's just the same one. Well,
You know, the funny thing is when you're scrolling through your phone, that's the only time you stop rocking
yeah, really.
or your legs jumping.
Well, I could give you another like, so it might be alright.
Yeah, we were talking about, Chris said he's been best man at a wedding twice and both
Okay.
marriages ended horribly.
Oh.
So he said it was too weird to be,
Thanks for watching.
for that to be a made up story, in other words.
So clearly I'm on the wrong video.
Stop it! You're messing with my mind. And now you're messing with Joyce's mind. It's the Azuma, too.
Okay, there you are.
And see now, nice and quiet.
And I can still give it another like, so it might be alright.
It's the same radius as it was over there.
Yeah, nothing's different.
Nothing's different. It's stabler, too.
Yeah, you would think so. It's like
Oh,
right on
yeah,
the
you got to
back.
do... Yeah, Dino did your line, but you got to do your line.
What line's that?
His last one.
Yeah, okay. So everybody, please hit the like button. Thank you, Dino. So, hi, Greg. Hope everything's well.
Oh, I didn't tell you about his last email. I got it, and
Oh,
I didn't
gotcha.
answer it back either.
Oh, he will.
Yeah, but
When
it
he
shouldn't
has
be
some
3-4
minutes.
days late.
Yeah. They've been busy. Ah, thank you, Valley.
Well, only hit the like button
Yeah, if you haven't
if a
hit
sexy
your like
southern
button.
voice
Yeah.
convinces you or you actually like the stream.
Well, you know, it's Daisy, and we all want you to hit the like button. Heather's still not
Not
well.
well, yeah.
Oh, no. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, sorry I didn't tell you about that.
Yeah, so hey, March West.
I read
It's
the
an
email
Andrew right
earlier
there.
in the day, and then I was,
Yeah.
well, the number one
That's what
distraction
it
was I was playing video games, so that's how horrible a person I
That
am.
is true.
I spent 2
Oh,
days
I'm
playing
sure
the
she's
new
okay.
Space Marines game, and
Yeah, he
was
was.
totally, and then checking emails and go, okay, I'll read that later, I'll read that later, I'll read that later. And then you came home, and you got the news about the new partner.
Yeah. How's the ex-accountant?
Your new partner.
You know, I like her quite a bit. She kind of got in a little bit of trouble, I guess.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah, because kids were copying off papers, and she didn't like how she handled it.
She didn't like how she handled it, or?
The principal didn't like how she handled it.
Ah, gotcha.
So, hey, Randall. So anyway, no, I like her. She's quite a character.
Yeah.
She lives in Point Place. She was telling me today about the tornado. So that was she stayed on her back deck and yelled at everybody else to get in the basement.
That's the problem is
So,
most of the administrators these days are very much about the latest kid-friendly and
well,
old school.
she got parents that complain that she embarrassed their kids. You know what? They shouldn't have been cheating off each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. She was an accountant. You're right. So anyway, she's a character. I'm finding her hilarious. She is tough, and those kids need tough right now. She's got quite a group. They say I really thought for a moment just to keep them all. And I thought that's not fair to that group. If their real teacher ever comes back, that would be the third teacher for the year, and that's hard on them. They need somebody consistent, and I told them that. I'm your consistent teacher. I'm not going anywhere other than a trip. She'll be gone 2.5
Wow,
days.
you're taking the because I saw your short you put up, Greg. You put up a short I saw. Actually, you put up a couple over the last couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Golly, I hope she's okay. Yeah, your 2 grandkids and daughter and son-in-law, one of Heather's sisters and husband are traveling though.
So we have a lot of the
See a lot of
southern.
people there.
All right, Monsville, check me. Am I wrong? Are you in Brisbane?
Oh, Kyan says hello.
Oh, Kyan's here.
Yeah.
All right, if you're new to the channel, plug your ears.
Plug ears. That's our grandson, and that's our daughter, who's Lindy loves. She is a sweetheart.
All right, here we
She did
go.
a good job with Kyan.
Kyan! Opa loves you!
Opa loves you!
Hey, little guy!
Hey, I missed you yesterday. Sorry. Almost back to long hours for a few days, I think. We really don't want it to be all year. Yeah, I sure did.
But see, that is actually funny that we. I don't know. Can we take credit for this? Because you remember, we always greet Kyan like that.
Yeah, we do.
And then we sat there one night joking that we should greet everybody who comes in the chat room like that.
Yeah, we should.
Dino, Andy, and we
Dino,
never
yeah.
did. But now they do often greet each other, like with the all caps print. Dino,
right.
Andy,
Oh, yeah.
So did we start that?
Do your ears hang low? Do they wobble on the floor? I'm not singing it right.
I don't remember that
Need a
song.
pit stop, but I thought as much time I
The
could hold it
lyrics I
on.
remember. How it goes, I don't.
Yeah, I'm with you too.
But yes, this Lindy Loves is my daughter.
That's our
My
eldest.
older daughter. I've got 2. She's the older of the 2. See, it's doing it again.
Yeah, it is. The
And
mama
then he
of our,
re-rails and he's fine. And then I
Yep.
don't know what it is.
She's the mama
Anyhow,
of our
but
grandson.
she's the one who did the design.
Yes, she did.
She's the one who
It's
did the
fantastic.
new design.
So we're kind of hoping a lot of you buy it for us.
Well, for
'Cause
themselves,
you're all
that's
the
the point.
knights,
Because
yeah.
I set the price. I set the price the lowest I could above cost
Okay.
that they allow, which is like $1 or $2.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't sell it at cost. It has to be.
Uh-huh.
You have to make a profit.
It was a Bernie handshake.
Oh, it was a
Right.
Bernie handshake. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, it is, it was funny. She's telling me she always goes over right-handed. So she put it left-handed because Anthony's left-handed.
That's not what he's talking about, but
Yeah, it's okay. I just thought I was just bringing that up.
yeah, there was just one of the little things like hiding the
Just the
ICE3s in
detail.
the gauntlets and the tracks.
Uh-huh.
Although Jean Ricard immediately pointed out that she, if I am the Märklin guy, she should have put the 3-rail dots
Yeah.
on each of the rails. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, it's real rails, real trains.
Yep.
All right, Eric,
So,
good night.
Eric, you
Take care.
of yourself.
But she said, I'm a lefty, so she put the left hand on top.
Yeah, in the front. And how clever is
See,
that?
I didn't pay attention to that,
No,
but
Anthony never would have. But it's one of those details.
it was a little tribute to her dad.
She
Dad's
is-
a lefty, so
She
she
is,
put the
her
attention to
job
details.
makes her do it. She is very attention to details.
Detail
so
oriented.
It's lovely. I think we both need to get one.
Much
too.
respect to you. Admiration and respect to you, Eric.
Yeah, for sure.
Get some
Yeah.
rest. Keep fighting, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. Keep fighting. Love our friends.
But because when we wore those T-shirts my daughter designed, it's all a bunch of horse poop shirts, and Joyce had the "It's Lil Damn It," and she made that for the season 1 finale.
Right.
A bunch of people said, "Oh, I want that shirt," so we put them up on Teespring,
Yeah.
and only a couple of people bought them.
Supposed
But
to be
okay, a
one
couple
by
of people
but
bought them.
Yeah. So I'm just watching the one that's trying to derail here. I think it's gonna be hard for me to turn them off for you now.
What's that?
It'll be hard
No,
for me
no,
to
it's
turn
my
them off.
job.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's 6 o'clock almost.
But yeah, it's that time.
Yeah, sorry guys. It was kind of like it was.
I was
when
gonna
get
I was
here.
gonna hang a few minutes later just to let you get your quality
Yeah.
time. Ha ha! Let you get your quality
Oh,
time.
you're up to 50 likes.
Am I?
Thank you,
Wow.
people.
50 people like me.
All the nights are wonderful.
333 views and 50 likes. That
The
means
nights and the night
that means
tests.
1 out of 6 people liked me. The other 5 out of the 6 did not
Apparently
like me.
not.
We're ambivalent at
Well,
best.
I guess. It's that I don't know why.
All right,
So
you
Liz
take care,
says
Eric.
it
Send
like-
our best. Well,
Yep, absolutely.
if you're still true with what you said in
Right.
your email, Heather, if you're seeing us,
Yeah, please take care. Yeah, we want you
we're
well.
so sorry. Take care. You're such a wonderful lady.
Oh, Randall said I clicked on the Teespring link and it won't load up.
Yeah, that one's not loading up for some reason. I'm going to change it after the stream because this link is working right there. That link is working. I don't know why the one from Teesprings isn't working, but that one is.
Yeah, so click on that one. Yeah,
I can't edit the video while it's live.
Sure.
Maybe that's why I'm not getting views, I'm getting views but not sales. Who else do I need to shut down? Oh, this
Over
one.
here. Yeah, you
Oh,
go
I
for-
had the GoPro going for the first time in a live stream in a
Oh,
long,
nice.
long time. That
That's
was
very nice.
very nice. I couldn't believe that. That was happy,
Well, I
joy,
gave you
joy.
a like on one of the other videos you put up today. Looked at the wrong one.
Yeah, the other one.
Do you have anything on this one?
So, well, let's go to that camera.
Said
People are
something was on.
dashing out the door. The waitresses are passing out the checks.
That's the one we can't turn the lights off.
Which one?
This one.
Yeah, you can't turn it off on the computer app.
Okay.
You have to do it with
The main one. Okay,
the main
gotcha.
ones. Okay, anyhow, this one. All right, so unfortunately it was a short visit from Joyce today. Maybe someday
Yeah.
she'll remember what her priorities are and get here on time.
I had to find my stuff. Apparently, I just wasn't complaining on other kids this
Well,
year.
like George Carlin once said, you need a place for your stuff.
Yeah, you do.
That way you can find it.
So I found. Well,
So
I know where
anyhow,
it is now.
Thanks to all of you for joining us again with all the mad
Appreciate
rattling.
it.
And if we
Yep.
offended you, well,
Sorry.
we're offensive. But anyhow, as always, we are very grateful and appreciative of the fact that so many of you come back every Friday. And I know we say it every Friday,
sure
but
do.
as long as you come back, we're going to thank you.
Yeah.
So on that note, good night, take care, but more importantly, Auf Wiedersehen,
Choose.
and happy trains. Take care,
Bye.
everybody.
Watch my other video.